Okay, I'm gonna start the demo off by showing that my flipper's connected, and I deleted everything inside of sub gigahertz. What in the world is it? Here, yeah, it's all gone. So if I try to open something on it, it's does not like. Oh, what the? Okay, it doesn't like it. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do a flippy new. I'm gonna call it a demo. You get to choose your firmware that you want. I'm just going to use Unleashed. I'm already on the developer version, but I'm going to go to release for this, create, yes. Now, since the sub gigahertz directory is gone, I'm going to run, which will flippy firmware update. Okay, you got to, for all the commands, you got to be in the directory. So this will install the firmware I just selected for it. And I already downloaded it. It's just copying all the files onto the flipper. It's just copying all the files over right now. Should be a small update. Okay, I see this. You click yes. It on my side it did reboot the flipper, and I'm just gonna have to wait for it to come back. So yeah, I'll just wait. Almost done. It's just it says extracting resources. Okay, it did reboot. Now I'm going to open QFlipper again to show the screen, and you can see that it has updated. We can go to sub gigahertz, and it does not give the warning anymore. Go back to the file system for it. And now the assets directory there, which has all the files that sub gigahertz needs. So I'm going to disconnect that and reboot the flipper. So QFlipper no longer holds a serial connection to it. Now we can go, we're back in our demo directory. We can, first we're going to add a new repository. So I like this one. It has a bunch of just random files for the flipper. For this demo, we're gonna use sub gigahertz and vehicles because it's really small. This whole thing's like 10 gigabytes. I don't want to download that. So we're just gonna use vehicles. So we're going to copy this and then run flippy repo add boom we're going to call it's fine. Then we're going to just choose what files we want to actually download and include. So this is the name of the repository, and we want to include just this. So we can go back here, paste it in, and we only want the end of .sub. That's just the name of all these things. Those are like that's the flipper's file format. And we only want that because for some of them they have like markdown readmes and documentations. We don't want that. I'm just gonna copy this and it maps it. Now where's all this go? It actually goes into a file called flip.toml, and this is just the name of the flip, the firmware URL for all the repositories and all the mappings. You can exclude certain files. So if you wanted to like include like everything in here, but you did not want to include vehicles, you'd put this in there and put the full version in include. So I'm going to leave this. Then I am going to actually download the repository we just added. So you run this. It's gonna take a while because it actually downloads the entire repository and then filters it. This is well you'll see why later, but this is gonna take a bit. It takes like 50 Okay, it's almost done right now. Just writing it to disk. And now it's done. So if we actually look at the file structure of this, it is in a directory called store that has, this is the firmware we downloaded, and this is the repository. We saw the ID of this in here, same ID here, same ID here. If you actually go into, it's just the repository that we downloaded from here. So all the same files. So now we're going to actually transfer the files because that just downloaded it here. So we're going to run flippy upload. So this first run, it says that the sync file didn't exist because it's our first time. It says ignore it if it's your first time. Now we're just gonna run it again. So it did a diff of our the local file system for the flipper and the actual flipper. It communicated to it and found all the differences. So if we perform the operations, it's going to copy 35 files, make 13 directories, and remove nothing. So we do yes. It's gonna do all the operations. For larger things, this takes a bit, but normally pretty fast if you're just copying tiny files. Okay, now it's done. We can check QFlipper now. Go back. We can see that all the files are now there. So Honda, all of these, they're all now in here. Say you wanted to preserve the original directory structure of this, you didn't want it to just be this, but you actually wanted it to be including sub-gigahertz too, just like this whole directory structure, but you only want this here, so it'd be sub-gigahertz slash vehicles instead of just vehicles and everything's dumped in there. What you can do is first delete the sync file. I haven't implemented the thing that does this, but when you delete this, it desyncs them. So next time you run Flippy, it will do a full diff and manually remove and copy every file without checking Git, because at the start it actually uses the Git repo. The sync file stores a hash, like a comment hash, and it just doesn't have to do as many operations to do a full diff. So what we're going to do now is we're going to copy everything from sub gigahertz. We can go back to our TOML file, and instead of just vehicles, we're going to do everything. And we're going to exclude, I'm just going to pick these. They are really big, except we're going to do everything. So we're not going to exclude anything. We're just going to dump them all in here, see how it goes. I've never actually tried this, so now it's written to disk. Just run flippy upload. You don't have to download anything, again, because we already have it downloaded. It gives you the warning that the sync file is not there. Just run it again. That was actually pretty fast. It did the entire diff in like half a second. So it's gonna do 11,000 things. Yeah, I'm just gonna see how this goes. Yeah, it's not gonna take that long. I mean, it's going. Yeah, we're just gonna wait. I'll be back. Um, while we wait, I could have actually sped this up a lot because I could have excluded certain things like this. Um, it yeah, has a lot of files. This would probably take away maybe 2,000. There's more like that though, but I'm going all in. I don't actually need any of them, but I'm probably gonna delete it after. Just stress testing it. But I do not want to risk anything. And I think it'd just cancel it, and then I'd have to manually clean up what it failed to do, and then restart the flipper. I don't think it'd break anything. Be annoying though. Whatever. I'm gonna do it. Part of testing. Part of testing it. Okay, I'm going to just Control C, and then now I'm gonna go back to Q Flipper. It's alive. That's good. So I'm going to delete the sync file again, and back in. Actually, that's a good idea to show this feature. So when it actually does the diffs of the things, I'm gonna get rid of this. I want to exclude that. Very big. When it actually does the diffs, it will go in and check for existing files if they changed. The flipper has a built-in way to see the MD5 hash of things, and my program will calculate that. So I'm going to exclude. What's it called? We're gonna get rid of the big one. Was it touch? That's big too. Gotta has to include every single combination. I think it's enough. Yeah, probably reduce it by a couple thousand. So I did clean everything. I'm gonna restart the flipper so it cleans up its RPC cache. Then rerun this. Oh yeah, this is it checking the diffs of every file. So it calculates the MD5 hash for both of them. I might want to clean up the logs here, but yeah, it checks the MD5 hash for both files, and if they match, it's a little check mark. Shows local hash, which is, yeah, and it's done. Yeah, that normally doesn't take that long. So yeah, we reduced it from 11,000 to 1,000. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. So if any of these were different, it would remove it and then replace it. And if there are directories that shouldn't have existed, it will delete the directories. I can show that. Yeah, it's gonna be much faster now. And it is almost done. Got 6 to go. What even is this? Weather stations. Numbers, wow. And 1,705 files have been copied. So we're going to clear this. And now I can show you that yeah, it has all the files. Go here. Boom, bada bing, bada bang. Has everything. And everything from vehicles. This is now in vehicles instead of just in here. Much better. I'm now going to show removing a file by committing to the local repository. So if we go into store, we saw from the config that this is the ID of our repository. Go to the sixth one. Go. We can actually go into sub-gigahertz and delete. What was it? Gates brute forcing. Gone now. Then we can run flippy upload again, and it is going to. Oh, we did not commit the changes. Go back here, git add dot. Okay, then we can run flippy upload again. It immediately detects 971 files are going to get nuked, and run it is much faster. So yeah, all that past 20 minutes is just gone now, but it's way faster to move. And adding individual files, say I go back and just add a new file, will be really fast. That's basically it for Flippy. Um, is the command interface again. There is another command on store called clean. It will just delete the local things. So flippy store clean, boom. It's just empty now, just deletes everything in there. Yeah, that's basically it.